All right, welcome back to Booked, the podcast that helps you get booked on more podcasts. My name is Spencer Carpenter with Outlier Audio, and I'm here with my co-host,
Amanda Foley from Curate Your Soul.
And today we're going to talk about how, people know what they should be doing with their podcast episodes, even if they're not doing it. But I still think there's missed avenues that people don't see about just how much you can do with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like the immediate thought is we can do clips, but there's more to the connection that's made with an interview, the content that's made with the interview, your ability to repurpose that content that like people miss out on. So, I mean, you have clients that you work with very long term. So you are kind of a part of the full marketing strategy.
Mm-hmm.
I have more people where it's like I give them the precursor that they can then go and do something with. They can give it to their marketing team or their VA or whatever. But I feel like you're a little more hands-on with that. So like, what are your clients doing post-interview?
Mm-hmm. It really depends. And I would say I'm maybe more enmeshed in my clients' company as like a fractional communications person in a lot of cases. I don't touch the marketing as much, but what I will say that, and I'll say some are better than others at this, but I think if you, like my overarching theme is that if you make podcast guesting transactional, it's going to feel that way. Mm-hmm. And you're going to get sort of that one bump. You borrow that audience, which is great, even if you're doing just that. But there's so much more that you can do. And what I have seen is that the clients that are really good at actually, and it's not going to work with every host because I think, we have dynamics with human dynamics that are going to make you connect with some people more than others. But in many cases, some of my clients are really good about either asking for additional opportunities at the end of the interview if they feel a connection. Right. Even with if they have guests on, asking them if they would have them on their show. They get invitations to teach into communities and vice versa. And so I think it's beyond even just, will you promote this episode?
Right.
Will you, on either end, right? Like you could look at this reciprocally, whether it's someone having guests on their show or going on shows. But the other thing I think we could probably chat about too, and you and I were just talking about this before we hit record, which is that sometimes even if you don't get a chance to share the episodes immediately, most of what you're talking about is evergreen.
Right.
And so this is content that even for the long term can create, opportunities to continue posting or repost for because only a fraction of people see it. And so even if you're doing just that and using that content well, there can be a whole lot of value because sometimes it even brings it back to the host again and the host might have something else going on. So I think sometimes we just think that it's this one hit wonder and the episode goes out and whatever happens, and we're not looking for ways to actually either extend the relationship or utilize that content in a broader way.
Yeah, well, we use this podcast mostly for LinkedIn content.
Right.
Like, we have a dozen listeners an episode, and like that's
right, but
okay.
that's not necessarily for us. It's not the point, right?
Yeah.
It's like, how do we have these conversations that are really organic? I mean, we might broadly talk about what we want to cover, but then a lot of interesting things come out of it that we may not think of if we sat at our desks and typed content.
Well, we also have two different businesses, and this is a nice monthly meetup for us to talk about things. This is a networking opportunity.
Right, there's
for
so many
us.
Things that are coming out. Right, exactly, that come out of this.
And I'm repurposing our videos on YouTube, so I'm learning about shorts. Like these are little things, and to the person that is actually watching this podcast right now to try and learn whether or not they should be hiring us or starting. I know that this is not the direct ROI vehicle that they're looking for, or these individual things are not what they're looking to throw money at or thousands of dollars or whatever. But the thing that I know almost nobody is doing is setting up a follow-up call with the host. To be like, keep in mind, lots of business-to-business podcasts are meant to be a top-of-funnel sales vehicle. Obviously, education coming out is great, but they are hoping that maybe that, there's someone that can turn into their client. So let's just say you get onto one of those and you're not going to be their client and they know you're not going to be your client. You're still both running businesses. There can be synergy there. So the person that actually goes out of their way to form a relationship with the host can build affiliate like relationships through that. And again, if you go on a dozen podcasts, I always use a dozen as the example because I typically work with people on like a 6-month campaign, 2 podcasts a month. So a dozen, if you set up 12 affiliate relationship, you're going to get something out of that.
Right. And you mean actual affiliates where they sign up as an affiliate
well,
for
it could be a handshake thing, whatever it is.
But even a lot of like people have affiliate programs that then those hosts, I mean, what have you got to lose by signing up for it, right? If you're having the person on your show, you share that link in the show notes, when you post out, you can put the link there and then you have an opportunity to, you're having that person on your show for a reason.
Sure. And on top of that, like, okay, let's just say of that 12, you can't actually get all 12 to become affiliates. Maybe it's only 3. There's still 9 more you can do quarterly check-ins with. Just touch base, ask what's changed in their business. I mean, these are normal CRM things that people already have set up for other parts of their business that they don't set up for.
Right. It's a different marketing arm if you think about it that way. Well, I think the other thing too is even when you follow them, whether it's on LinkedIn, Instagram, whatever, TikTok, wherever they are, you could see what they're doing. Maybe they launch a new program and then you have an opportunity to message them and say, oh, wow, I saw you're doing X, Y, and Z. Like maybe there's something we can do together. And, I think it depends because what I find is we get a lot of emails either from shows that some of my clients have been on or just sort of even like kind of random connections saying, do you want to do cross promotion? And a lot of my clients don't like to do that.
Right.
It never hurts to ask, but I think like that's why it is important to think creatively and not assume that there's only one way to do this. Because to your point, even just having a conversation every once in a while, because I know a lot of the time what happens is before they even hit record, in the Zoom or wherever the Riverside, wherever they're doing the interview, they end up having a conversation either before or after. And they kind of can tell whether there's any synergy there and maybe things like maybe they just even like each other.
Sure.
And what I would say is, and you said this earlier, from a networking perspective, you never know, even if maybe those 2 businesses aren't meant to connect in any way, they may know somebody that is the perfect connection for them. And if and then you have the opportunity to leverage even further. Or maybe they're like, oh, I know another podcaster that would love to have you on. I think you'd be perfect for this audience. Things organically come from there. That wouldn't if you just kind of show up, have a straight face, answer questions like a ping pong match, and then say goodbye.
That's the other thing is if you know anything about referral marketing, just because people know you do a thing doesn't mean they're going to make a recommendation to a potential customer unless you ask.
That's true.
I have a photo booth rental business. All of my friends know I have a photo booth rental business. Do you know how many of them hit me up saying, my friend's getting married? Do you want me to connect you? None of them. None of them do that because I haven't asked them.
Well, and you know what? And that's it too. And I just think, and I don't mean this in a like narcissistic way, but people are thinking about themselves and their own business, right? So it's not because they wouldn't often, like, so again, to your point, that's really valuable to ask.
If you're the one person that actually asks, you might be the person that gets it.
Yeah, it's true.
There's obviously, that was all just about the connection with the host. It can be immediately after. It can be quarterly follow-ups, biannually, whatever.
Or triggered by something, right? That you see.
And obviously you follow them on socials. You should be commenting on their stuff. If you're active on social, like who better for you to be interacting with than somebody that had you on their show? And I don't want to spend too much time on clips. Everybody knows that part. Like that, you should be taking you should be asking the host for the video file at the end or getting it from YouTube, whatever it is, and throwing into Opus Clip or Descript or hiring a VA or somebody to do this.
Right, even if you're not technically savvy yourself.
And I mean, if you pay bottom dollar for it, you will get usually pretty generic clips, but even still, like something is better than nothing. But I always...
Or get the transcript and create posts out of
Yeah,
it even, right? Like you don't even have to have the video.
Yeah.
It's so easy now to pull transcripts.
Well, LinkedIn doesn't even like video right now. We're doing all of this for video. And LinkedIn it already throttled like
but
our
we could turn
stuff.
it into...
But yes, text clips.
Into copy, yes.
Yeah. Those are all things that like you should be doing it if you're not. But because if you get no reach out from just like a listener, you still have an audience of people that have not become customers. And that can be through your LinkedIn or your Instagram, or the thing that most people miss is just that touch point through email. I like to use the example, like, let's just say you have a business that is regional. I mean, even if it's national, being able to incorporate that you have been on podcasts regularly to that person that's on the fence. They had a meeting with you, they didn't sign up, but they haven't unsubscribed from your email. That is showing them that you have credibility.
Or make a Spotify list and put it at the bottom of your email marketing with all of the shows that you've been on, and maybe highlight one every time you send out. There's so many. Even just sitting here, I'm like, oh, I wouldn't have thought of that before. But hey, it's such a great way. Even if you're not wanting to send out an old interview, but you can have a way to continually refer people back to all of the shows that you've done.
Well, that's what we're doing with one of my clients right now. Is he asked me to start taking the transcripts. He hosts a show. He wants me to turn the transcripts into an email that we can then push out to people. But one of the templates we have is, I'm going to start getting him booked on podcasts, and when those start coming out, we want to use that template that points out or drives people. I mean, it doesn't have to drive them. It can just be they look at it. Yeah. And that comes back to...
It just is a footer you leave on every... every newsletter that goes
It comes back to my thought that when people... The SEO diversification that comes from being on podcasts is not so that people can listen to all 10 of your podcast interviews. It's so that they can see you've been on 10. Maybe they listen to one, but they know that other people are inviting you, that they value your opinion, that they see value in having you on their show, and that then builds the trust that, I mean, again, we know that you can only really build a ton of trust if people take the time to listen to you, but there's there's so much that can happen between them hitting play on a podcast you've been on and when they first start looking for you. And it does come back to that SEO. They see you're active on socials. They see you've been on podcasts. You've put out a book. If you've put out a book, not everybody does, and that's okay. All of these things is just like, that's the precursor to them deciding they are going to listen to you.
But it's credibility, it's thought leadership, it's showing that you're actually out there. People are, like we were just talking about, the difference between earned media and paid media. They have to choose you and invite you. And I've said it before in our conversations, and I'll say it again. I have firsthand seen how someone has gone, within a category from almost unknown or low down on the list to the top 3 in their space by consistently guesting on podcasts. I mean, and the AI models call that out specifically. Right.
So we connection with the host, social clips, email. I guess this goes back to connection with the host, but like not just asking for introductions to clients, but also like most hosts, especially if they're in the B2B space, are entrepreneurs and they are into continued education, stuff like that. Asking them do you know other shows that want to have me, but are you a part of any mastermind groups? Or
they have their own communities, a lot of them, or Substacks, right? Because there's other media within their ecosystem that you could also, even if they're well, I don't want to write an article, and you can I guest write an article? Can I come in and teach to your community? I mean, I see that happen a lot because there's tremendous, they're like, oh, this was such a great conversation. Not only would my podcast audience really enjoy this, I know that the people that are paying, behind the paywall, maybe smaller, but they're also people that are buyers and more serious.
Right.
They're going to love hearing from you. Or people even do the split podcast where they do half is free and then the half is behind the Patreon paywall. I mean, even looking for opportunities like that. But I pitch that way too. So if I pitch to a show host, I always, because you were talking about asking if they know other people or can make connections, I always look at who they follow on social, like especially on
Try and make
Instagram, you
some
can see
connection
that.
there.
And I will build connection that way too, because I know even if it's a bigger show, they may say, oh, well, so-and-so who's either my friend, I follow them,
Right.
I've had them on the show, I've been on their show. And then they, that even lends additional credibility.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, as we were talking about this, I was also thinking, I mean, I'm not a blogger or anything, but in it, following up on that idea of like quarterly or, semi-annual connection points, like you could collaborate and make content with these people. Nobody's asking to do that. And also that, I mean, in terms of collaboration, that part is getting easier and easier through like YouTube having collaboration posts, Instagram having collaboration posts.
So now you don't even have to ask them to share. You just tag them.
Well, actually, I was going to say a lot of podcasts are stuck in their ways and they're slow to adopt things. So you should be volunteer. If you have a YouTube channel or you are active on Instagram, if they haven't asked you if you'll accept the collaboration post, you should ask them.
Yeah.
Like, don't let them fall short on promoting your episode.
Well, it's another way to borrow that audience too,
Yes.
right? Because the people have different places where they reach people and you're only getting a fraction from each. And so I agree. I mean, there should be no reason. And most shows I think that you and I deal with, the majority are sending clips to the guests and giving them the opportunity. And so one or the other is going to either share them, or you could, if it's a great show and they share it and tag you, you could share another one a month later and tag them.
Yeah,
and
that's,
so like
that's
it's
what
not,
I was gonna say. Is like sometimes they send clips, but sometimes those clips are meant for them. Like I remember going on a show where I was sent 2 clips, but one of them was the host talking the entire time, so I had no incentive to share it.
Right, because that doesn't buy you anything.
But if you are going to repurpose that content yourself, obviously, I think it's nice to strike while the iron's hot and promote the episode when it comes out. But I think there's a lot of value in being the person that comes back 2 months later or 3 months later and says, and shows the host, I'm still doing this.
Well, because it drives downloads for them too, right?
Yes. And so here I'm gonna release these 3 clips this month. If I send you, the host, collaboration requests on YouTube, will you accept them? And you don't have to have your own podcast to be building a YouTube channel of your clips.
That's true. You could have a whole clip of short or whole channel of shorts if you're doing enough podcast guesting. Yeah.
So I think that those are, I mean, look, well, it's just you and I, so we don't have guests to do this stuff with. Or I don't go on podcasts as much as I used to.
Yeah, I don't
But
either.
for the people that are looking for other strategies in social and in utilizing their podcast, I think these are all very good ways. Are there any others that come to mind for you?
Not off the top of my head.
Okay. This might be a shorter episode then, but if we come up with anything else, we'll revisit on a different episode. So thanks for joining us on this episode of Booked, the podcast that gets you booked on more podcasts. Again, my name is Spencer Carpenter with Outlier Audio, and this is my co-host,
Amanda Foley.
and we'll catch you on the next one.